So, hi everyone. Thank you all for coming to this presentation of the Lockheed Martin Twitter Analytics tool. We'll dive right into a quick introduction. First, we have Aaron Mendelson. He was our software development lead. Next, we have Davis Franklin. He was our user interface and user experience lead. Myself, I was project management lead, Rakamuna, and then we had Will Vaughn, who was our data science lead. Now, for this presentation, we're going to talk about the space that Lockheed Martin occupies in defense contract acquisition and where our analytics tool was able to provide some benefit. So we'll be talking about where the tool was when we received it at the end of last year's project and where we've been able to take it and what additions and improvements we've been able to make. So we'll go into, we'll do a quick tool walkthrough so that you can see some of the features and functions of the tool, and then we'll summarize some of the key takeaways to close us out. So the big question, can Lockheed Martin use social media data to gain a competitive advantage in contract acquisition? So as most of us know, Lockheed Martin's been around a while and they've had a lot of success at winning contracts. So the thing is, in the space that they occupy, it's dominated by several very large players competing for a very limited number of contracts. So in a space like this, competitive advantage can mean the difference between millions and even billions of dollars. So where does our tool come in? Well, in recent years, social media has been exploding and shows a lot of potential for business intelligence. Now, we received our tool at a very prototype level, so we dealt specifically with Twitter data. But for this project, we sought to develop a tool that could comb through Twitter and collect and analyze on relevant users and topics to provide business intelligence and, in turn, competitive advantage. So with that said, I'm going to pass it off to Will to talk about where the project was when we received it.
So this project was actually a continuation of the work started by last year's team. They created a prototype of this Twitter analytics tool, and this is the general design. Okay. So the prototype used a tool called Wisdom that created static CSVs of all the collected tweets that they gathered from specified government officials and competitor organizations. It would then take those collected tweets and apply a relevancy model, which would assign a score of 0 or 1 to indicate irrelevant or relevant, respectively. And after that, it would apply a topic model, which would extract keywords from the tweets and create topic buckets, which would further help gather and summarize the content of the tweets. Once the models were applied, the app was ready to be used. Its primary feature was a user search function. This function would take a user handle and a date range, and then it would give you a table of all the relevant tweets in that time frame from that user, as well as the primary topic buckets that the user would use over time. So after evaluating the prototype, we found some target areas for improvement. The first was to create a stronger backend model. The second was to create a user interface for Lockheed that's similar to what they're already using. The third was to create additional dashboards to increase the utility that the app would offer. And the fourth was to create and combine all these other tasks to create a production-grade final deliverable. And with that, I will pass it off to Aaron to talk about our solution.
Thanks, Will. So this is the new improved structure of the Twitter analytics tool using the architecture diagram that was shown earlier. A lot of the processes are the same, but the methodologies of those processes have been upgraded to that production quality level. Starting off with the tweets, we still do an automated daily poll, but instead of using Wisdom, we poll directly from the Twitter API using a S3 bucket as like a middleman. So those tweets then go through a similar process of getting scores, but I want to focus mainly on the additional insights. We moved away from the topic model because we felt that, they were pigeonholing tweets into buckets that couldn't necessarily fit. We were concerned as our data grew that those buckets would become nondescript. So instead, we implemented a tagging system that allowed every single tweet to speak for themselves and give a more unique flavor to what kind of analysis that Lockheed Martin end users can do. Additionally, we added a sentiment score, just kind of giving a general feeling of how positive or negative a statement is. And we have reworked the relevancy model. We no longer treat it as a yes or no question, but treat relevancy on a spectrum. So instead of a 0 or 1, we apply a score between 0 and 1 and allow end users to make the decisions themselves. Then the tweets and their metrics are housed in a Elasticsearch index, which is essentially a server that allows us to ask a wider range of queries and get them answered fairly fast. This is one of the bigger updates to that production quality that we were aiming to achieve, and culminating in that is the final tool. As you can see, we have made upgrades to the user analysis dashboard you'll see in the screenshots, but we've also added 3 new dashboards: a topic analysis dashboard, a competitor analysis dashboard, and a commodity analysis dashboard. And all this is really meant to show is the flexibility that our upgrades have provided to the tool and how Lockheed Martin can utilize them. And now I'm going to pass it off to Davis to do the tool walkthrough.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So in order to really highlight the work that we've done on this project, we want to go ahead and give a walkthrough of where the tool was when it was handed to us and where we were able to take it. So on screen here is a screenshot of what the tool looked like when it was given to us. We can see the user search function present at the top of the screen, as well as the date range. We can see the relevancy capability, which is highlighted by this relevant tweets button. I know it's kind of hard to see, but upon clicking that, all of the relevant tweets from the user input would be displayed there. And just under that, in the conversation topics section, is where all the main topic buckets for that user would be displayed. Now, this is a screenshot of where the user is presented when they open our app. So as you can see, it looks much different, and it looks a bit more polished than the proof of concept version that last year's team was tasked to create, as we were really tasked with taking this tool to the next level. So upon opening the app, we are presented with an about page, which gives the users an idea of what they can expect to see on each one of the dashboards. This sort of just helps to guide users through the process to help mitigate some of the stress that can come with opening something that's unfamiliar to them. As we can see, that's the highlighted on screen is the description of just the welcome, and this similar thing is presented on all the other tabs. Moving on, we have an overview dashboard, which really serves to just provide an overview of what the Twitter sphere has looked like over 4 specified date ranges, being the last month, the last 3 months, the last 6 months, and in the last year. Here we can see that in each one of these tabs, we're presented with the most active users from that time period by the number of tweets that they had in that time period, as well as the most common topics by the number of mentions in all of the tweets in that time period. Moving on to our first core functionality of our tool, we have our user analysis dashboard. This features the same sort of architecture that was used in the prototype solution. However, we have made significant upgrades, such as allowing our users to select users from a dropdown rather than remembering a specific Twitter user's handle off memory. And we're also allow analysis on groups of users rather than just one specific user. We also included our date range to be optional, just in case there was a specific event that the user wanted to search for. And we also give users the option to sort all of the tweets by either the relevant score or by the date range, or the recency of the tweets. Presented here, we are then presented with the most common topics for those users, and this would be useful for allowing the user to see what the main topics of conversation are for either one user or a group of users. And then we are also presented with all of the tweets from those users. As we can see here, these 3 folks were the ones selected in the dropdown on the previous slide, and all the relevant scores from their tweets are presented on the right side of the screen. Moving on to our second core functionality, this is our topic analysis dashboard. As we can see here, the user is able to search for any term that they so desire. So in this example, they are searching for Javelin missile, which is one of Lockheed's core products. They are then given similar date options as the user analysis dashboard, but the difference here is they are presented with the trend over time for that topic, which can be useful for tracking spikes or if there was any sort of notable event that somebody might want to take note of. Additionally, we have the top users tweeting about that topic so that anybody in Lockheed Martin can know who they can go to talk to if there is some sort of buzz around a particular product or topic of interest. They are then presented with a similar table of tweets, just like the user analysis dashboard, where we can see all of these tweets mention something either related to the Javelin missile or the Javelin missile itself, as the terms themselves are flexible as they return related results and not just ones that are specific to the exact search terminology. And then similar to the user analysis dashboard, we have the relevant score of all of those tweets highlighted there. Additionally, we have two other dashboards, which are the competitor analysis dashboard, which we really view as an extension of the user analysis dashboard. However, we're not showing that, as it really is just a way that we can enhance the user search function to look at all of Lockheed's main competitors, as well as the commodity analysis dashboard, which we view as an extension of this topic analysis dashboard, in which we are tracking the trend over time, the main users tweeting about it, and all of the tweets about various commodities that are used in Lockheed Martin's production process. And with that out of the way, I'm going to pass things back over to Rocco to wrap us up.
Thank you, Davis. So there were several key takeaways from this project. We believe that our biggest accomplishment was being able to take a prototype proof of concept tool and develop it into a fully functional production-ready application. We were able to develop a brand new graphical user interface, replace the back-end model with a stronger relevancy model, and even improve upon our data sourcing. And in replacing the new model, we were very happy with the strength we were able to gain from that, and we believe with future development of the tool, that strength will only increase. Additionally, while working on this project, we were able to confirm that there is, in fact, relevant and useful information that can be found on Twitter for Lockheed Martin. And last but not least, we were able to lay out the groundwork for expansion of the tool into various other forms of social media, which we believe will increase the business intelligence and, again, in turn, the competitive advantage for Lockheed Martin. Now, just a little bit of advice for any future cohort members. Our advice is to start now. Start thinking about the things that you're interested in this field. Really explore that. And again, this is a great program. You have a lot of great resources, a lot of great people that will help you whenever you need that. And just take the time to learn it. Not just the content, but also, learning how to comport yourself in a professional manner, dealing with people, and so on. And last, enjoy the experience. I know I speak for the team. We all did. Thank you.
So I know one big thing that's really popular right now within social media is the focus on privacy with data. So what are some of the steps that Lockheed is taking to ensure user privacy?
Yeah, so one big thing to notice is these are not individual accounts. This is a curated list of official government accounts. These aren't just we aren't just expanding it to everyone. A big upside of that is we lose a lot of risk of getting misinformation from false accounts. So the accounts that the last year's team developed and we added onto is curated for just professional business accounts only.
So what software did you use to develop your model in your tool?
You want it? It's mainly Python. All of it's Python. We developed it within a tool called Domino, which is just how Lockheed gets these apps up on their servers, but 100% written in Domino. I mean Python. Yes.
How did you do the tagging to calculate the relevancy?
So for the tagging and developing the training data, it really required somebody to go in and manually decide whether or not a tweet was relevant or not. So, for this, we were able to expand from, I think the last cohort had done about 400 tweets. They had labeled 400 tweets. We labeled 10,423. So we greatly expanded the training data.
Don't let him be modest. Him alone read and labeled 10,000 tweets.
So not to understate this, a big reason why we were able to get the accuracy increases that we were able to get to be able to change the architecture of our model and gain some more relevant results was because of this data increase. And that was one of the bigger goals that we had. You can't train a model off 400 tweets. So just that increase alone to 10,000, hopefully future cohorts and future projects just increase that number. Thank you, guys.